Hey guys, welcome back to Easeldoesitstudio. I figured I would jump on and I'm going to try to do a little ring today, but I want to give you an update on my foot. I went to the orthopedic surgeon yesterday and they numbed my foot in my toe and they straightened my toe out because my toe was like, it's the fourth toe. It was like this over my pinky. So they had to straighten it, pop the bone back in, and then they taped it to the middle toe. So I have to be extremely careful for at least the next 2 weeks until I go back to him. So stairs are not my friend right now, unfortunately. So my jewelry stuff is upstairs in my new office. Once I get my counter all cleared off, I will do like a little walk through and kind of show you where we're at. I still have wood for a desk because obviously it's going to stay like that for a while now because of my injury. I'm not going to be able to buy the resin, so it's just, you know, it is what it is. I can live with it. At least, you know, I have counter space and I have shelves. So that being said, we're going to try to recreate this little ring that I made. This took me 4 tries, and this is my 3rd video trying to video me making the ring. But because I don't have my setup that I have in my studio, I'm totally different in my office. Half of my things were out of frame. So I'm like, okay, I've got to do something different. So I'm going to try to do it this way so that I can see my screen and like see, so you guys can see what I'm doing. So this is just the 18 gauge, and everything's going to be reversed on my phone because I'm front facing. So this is 18 gauge German style wire. It's silver plated, and you know, it's just like for costume jewelry, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to take like a 12-inch section and I will straighten some out with my nylon pliers here. And we're just going to flush cut the end. So I do have some better wire cutters coming. They should be here tomorrow. And I have some memory wire coming. So we will be playing with that as well. So we have our piece of wire. I got my ring mandrel. And basically I just used, I like the bent nose pliers, but you can use just regular pliers. And my wire cutters. That's basically all I used. So I'm going to put it on my mandrel at like a size 8. And I am just going to cross this over a couple of times. So basically, this is how we're looking in the front. And then I'm going to take one wire, bend it down, and this wire, and we're going to just kind of give it a little arc upwards. And still trying to keep our wires straight on the mandrel. So I'm going to slide this off. Now, my wires are probably a little too long, but I really, for some reason, I am like struggling with this ring, just totally. So I'm just going to bend this, and this is somewhat stiff. And I'm just going to take my pliers and I'm going to gently make a loop and I am going to squish that down a little bit. So we've got one loop, but now we're going in the opposite direction. And then we're going to take the other wire and we're going to bring that through. And I'm going to try to use my fingers as much as possible. And then we're going to bring that to the front. So we have like a loop on each side. So our two middle wires are crossing over neatly right there. And then I'm going to take this wire and we are going to bring it through one more time. And this is where I struggle, guys, on this, getting this one. Because what you want to do is you want to keep it somewhat uniform with the first one. Let me get this crossed over and then I will show you kind of what I mean. So we've got that crossed over. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other piece. We're going to get that bent over. And we're going to pull that through. But we want to keep it in line with that first loop that we made. And I'm just going to cross my wires here. For some reason, I do better going one way than the other. Like this one came out way better than the other side. So let me go back to the other side. And I'm going to pull that over and try to get this to lay down better. All right, so that's how we have our front. So I'm gonna bring this back wire, we're gonna bend it and we're gonna come back up through, but I'm not gonna go all the way up. And I'll show you here in just a second. All right, so see how we have this side now has 3. I'm going to cut this about right here because I want to tuck it underneath this band. So I'm going to just pull that out enough where So I'm going to cut right about there. And then we're going to take this cut piece and we're going to tuck it up underneath that other piece. And I'm going to have to cut just a smidge more off. And then we can tuck that right up underneath. Just like that, so we have no sharpness showing. And then we are going to do the same on this side. I'm going to cut it right in here so that we can tuck it underneath that mound in there. So we got that cut there. And did I cut the wrong piece? Probably. Let's see. No, I didn't. And I'm going to pinch that down. Just like that. It is not perfect, but at least it is kind of showing, and that's what the underneath looks like. But there's nothing sharp. And then we're going to put it back on the ring mandrel. And we are now at a 9. So this definitely grew. And I'm just going to work harden the band. So this is going to end up being like a size 10. And then we're going to flip it over, and we're just going to, and that way we make sure that it's going in both directions. And there we have our semi-knot. Which looks better because this wire is a little bit bigger. So this is definitely, you know, way bigger on my finger. I needed a much smaller size, but, and then what I'll do is I'll just toss this into the tumbler. I will do a video coming up on that, guys. So anybody that wants to see that, you know, you will definitely have an option to see how that works. So this one I like way better because we have the 3 bands. It's a little bit thicker wire. So it definitely has a much, much better look to it. So that is this one. And then I was playing around because I like the charm rings, but I didn't like the fact that we had the thing sticking up. So I made this with just 1 loop, but now I'm curious to see if I can do it with like 2 loops. So I'm going to take that same 18 gauge wire, and we're just going to pull off, I don't know, a little bit of length here. because I would like to go around twice. So I'm going to do like a 10-inch piece and see what we get. So I'm going to cut it with the flat part of the pliers so that I have a flush cut. Check both ends. I need to flush cut this one. All right. So what I need to do first is I need to make a loop in the ring, kind of in the middle. Oops. But because I'm going to make it multi-layers, I might do that after. So let's just put our wire on roughly in the middle. And we are going to cross that over. So we have 3 in the back. So we have 3 in the back, and then we have 2 plus our little end pieces. All right, so where are we size-wise? So that's way too big. That is a 10. So I definitely want this to be like more of an 8. So I'm just going to take my pliers and kind of pull snugly on both sides. And then we're going to just pop the 2 outside ones up. So it's kind of going like that. So I need to bind these wires together. All right, maybe like, let's put it back on the mandrel. And I'm going to pull those tight as I can. Let's see. And so I basically just put my pliers and I bent. So I'm going to do the same thing right here. Let's see. Do I want to go there or do I want to go here? All right, we'll go down maybe like an inch. And we're going to twist that way. So we have something like this. Because I want this to be a continuous band and I don't want, I don't want to have any sharp edges. I want it to be like a continuous band. So we're going to take this side and we're going to feed that underneath. And kind of making that loop, making sure that our bands are flat. And then I'm going to take this, I'm going to flip the ring and we're going to take this side and we're going to push that underneath. And we are just going to bring that right up and kind of over. So now we kind of have like a little crisscross on our top. So in order to make my loop for my charm, I'm going to straighten this out just a bit here. And let's cut this right about there. So we just have a little bit so that we can make a loop. And I'm holding my bands really tight. And I gotta cut just a smidge more off. Oh, that one flying. So I want to tuck that flat. So we just have like a circle on that side. Now on this side, let's see, how am I going to do that? So if I bring this over my top, so I've just kind of crossed that over, and then we're going to take our round pliers and we're just going to make a loop. Make sure that it's tucked in. I'll show you here just a second. So we just put like a little loop. So when that is on our finger, it is not high, but we have the loop for our little dangle, and we have no sharp edges at all on our ring. All right, let me find a bead. Let's see. I get some black ones. These are. Let's see what these are. These are like a little, I know it's hard to see, guys. It's like a little tiny yellowy thing. So let me, did I bring my head pins up? My straight pins. Of course not. Why would I? You know, that would have made life too easy, right? All right, well, we're gonna make our own. So let's take a piece of this 20 gauge wire, and I'm just gonna cut enough that our bead, hopefully this bead will fit, and it does. So a little bead will fit through here. So I'm going to take the smallest end, the tip, and I'm just going to make a little loop in the bottom, as small as I possibly can. Just like that, like really, really little. And then I'm going to bring my bead down, just like that. I'm going to work on getting some better lighting in here, guys, I promise. All right, so I'm holding this down as tight as I can to the bottom. And I'm holding the bottom, and I'm just going to bend this wire over at a 90-degree angle. And then we're going to take our loop And I'm just going to bring this around, move my pliers, bring that around. So we have a loop. And I am going to straighten that out a little bit here. Hang on, I gotta... And I need that loop to be a little bit bigger. I'm going to open that up, put my pliers back in there. I'm just going to go down a little bit further here. And I'm going to hold this, and we're going to spin this wire. We're going to loop this around that bead. And my loop is still too big. So let me cut that off. We're going to cut another piece. We're going to start again. First, what I'm going to do is we're going to make our little tiny loop at the bottom again. So we have our little loop. We're going to put our bead on. And I'm just going to use my round nose pliers this time. So I'm going to bend that over. And I'm going to go just a little bit down because I want the loop to be big enough to put a jump ring through. And then I'm going to bring it over. I'm going to turn it and finish bringing that over. And then I'm going to wrap it like 2 times around our little bead. I gotta do one more on the back so it's even. All right. Then I'm gonna flush cut that really close, and we are gonna tuck that in. So now we have our little dangle. Let me grab a jump ring here. And let's see. And that's a little bit big. Let's try one of these. This looks like a better size. Now I could make the jump ring, but for today's video, to keep it simple, because I got to get my foot up, it's throbbing. Oh yeah, and my other glasses broke yesterday when I was getting ready to go to the surgeon's office. So yeah, that. So I just put my jump ring through my little bead, and now we're going to feed it through the little loop, and we are just going to close our little jump ring. And make sure you rock it back and forth because that will help lock it into place. And there we have our cute little dangly ring. And we can put it on our mandrel, make sure. So we're right at an 8. I will take my hammer and I'm just going to tap the front lightly, and then we're just going to work harden those bands just to give that wire some stability. And there we have it, guys. A little dangly ring and our little knot ring. So I'm slowly getting there, guys. I am. So let's put that on so you can see what that looks like. So this is the first time I've done this particular design. And then we have our other one. So yeah, but I did want to hop on, share something with you guys, let you know I'm still alive, I'm still kicking, you know, I haven't gone anywhere. So yeah, hopefully you'll be seeing me more. I might be doing jewelry videos for a little while, guys. I know some of you enjoy it and some of you don't, and I apologize for those who don't, but, you know, I still want to be able to make content, and this is going to be the way I'm going to do it until I can, like, safely go up and down the stairs and know I'm not going to fall on my behind and break my neck. Alrighty, guys, I will talk to you later. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the 2 rings and if I should have maybe done something different, because I'm sure you guys know more than I do. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye.